Hey, what is happening, Bulls and Bears? Wow, I have some, I think, some disturbing news for us to share here, for me to share with you. I was in a retailer today and I heard some disturbing information. To me, it's disturbing. I'll let you decide. First of all, if you like these updates and reports, please hit that like, subscribe button to keep this channel alive. And I've got the headset on today because there's some fans running in the background. Hopefully, you can hear me loud and clear. But let's talk about this. I was in Walmart today and I was walking around looking for an air pump, one of these pumps to use to pump up like pool toys and stuff like that. So I didn't want to do it, with my breath, end up dizzy, and there's a lot of pool toys. Anyways, not important. The guy that I asked, the worker that I asked, was kind enough to say, "Okay, it's down this aisle." And I said, "Okay, thank you." Took off walking. He followed me. I'm like, "Oh, I can find it. You told me the aisle number. I'll be good, right? I can look and see. I can find it." Oh no, it's locked up. I'm gonna need to unlock it for you. $18 pump, folks. Air pump from Best Way. $18 locked up. So on the way to get the item, the worker, the Walmart employee, chatted a little bit, and he said, "Yeah, we're locking up everything now. It's crazy. Not literally everything, but a lot of things are being locked up because of the economy and people that just are broke, and maybe their credit cards are maxed out. I don't know all the reasons, but we know that people taking things without paying for them is huge. So on the way back, the guy was like, "Yeah, we're locking up a lot of stuff now. Guess how much walked out the store just this past year?" I said, "Let me take a guess. $500,000. This is one location here in East County." He's talking about just his location. I said, half a mil. He said, $1.4 million. Now it gets crazier. $1.4 million. They just had a meeting recently, like within this week. And this worker says, they are instructed. I almost don't want to say this because if anyone's listening, they could take this information and go out and get a bunch of free stuff. On second thought, though, I don't think my audience is that type of people, so to speak. That's a compliment for all you watching. I don't want a lot of people to know about this, but maybe it's not even a secret because you've seen the news reports. The guy says that we are instructed, and this is in a company meeting, a Walmart meeting, we are instructed not to intervene. Somebody could just walk out with a cart full of stuff. The guy at the door, person, asks to see the receipt. They can just say no thanks. They can just not say anything. And they are advised not to pursue the person. Now, I don't know if that means they still call the cops, but they are advised not to pursue the person themselves. To me, that's pretty disturbing. And the guy added, the worker, on the way to get this air pump out of the locked case, he said, "Do you know who's paying for it?" I said, "Oh, yeah." I said, "I am. And we are, the population, we're paying for it." So the people that choose to pay for things, the people that are honest, we're the chumps. We pay for what other people get for free. Now, why is this important? Well, obviously, this is a financial slash business slash investing channel. And a big part of what we all have to deal with is the cost of living as consumers, as individuals that have to, run a household, maybe you have a family. And this means that we're not going to see costs coming down. Now, we see the Fed out there raising rates. That's not stopping all of the items from disappearing from the shelves at these retailers. And it's confirmed that the retailers are going to raise their prices, of course. Are they going to sit there and just go out of business and, take losses? Of course not. They're going to increase their prices to compensate for losses in this case, right? So anyone looking for a lower cost of living, you're going to be waiting a long time, it appears, and it's worse in some states. Now, hopefully, retailers, including Walmart, will not raise their rates in every location, in every state. Maybe they'll just do it in California. Maybe they'll just do it at that location. So the locations with the worst loss will have higher prices than maybe the Walmart the next town over, right? It's a little bit strange. I would think they would do it state by state, city by city. I'm not sure how it all works, but some very crazy information, if you ask me. 1.4 million at one location, at one particular Walmart, right? So the cost of living, look out, folks. If you can't pay off your credit card in full, and you're expecting, maybe something to come in like an economic downturn, causing prices to decline, causing deflation and lower prices, which typically is what happens when we see an economic downturn. We see deflation, we see falling prices. We're not seeing that now. It's a whole different world than it was back in 2008. There's a lot of people out there saying, oh, yeah, this happened in 2008. And I do, from time to time, refer to charts and data from 2008 because there are some similarities. But we're in an entirely different world, folks, than we were back then. Not just retail-wise and not just fighting theft from stores. The banking system is entirely different than it was. Everything's different, right? So look out, folks, because this could get real ugly. And you think it's bad now, I think just wait until the end of the year, 2024. But you don't have to wait. I mean, you can see it right now. Just look at what you're paying for, what you're buying, what you get for your dollar. We showed the chart, one or two reports ago, that the dollar's lost about 97% of its purchasing power since way back when, since they first introduced the dollar as the world reserve currency, right? Pretty crazy. But let's get into some other news here today. Still the cost of living getting worse. Another inflation gauge just edged higher. We're talking about the Fed's preferred inflation gauge, and this is known as the personal consumption expenditures, and this excludes food and energy. Imagine how much worse it would be if it included food and energy. This is the PCE. It rose 4.2% year over year. But yet we're told that inflation is slowing. Just another indicator that things are not what we're being told. And if you listen to the current administration, they're telling you that everything's getting better. It may be getting less worse, right? Most of you know this. It may be getting less worse, but it's certainly not getting better. Prices going up slower than they did previously. That's not as bad as it was, but does it mean that it's getting better? Well, I think many people might argue with that. Let me know what you think about that here. Something else, though, banks. Banks are still in big trouble. The bank's current usage of the Fed's emergency facility just hit a new record, folks, a new record. Worse than back in March when we saw banks collapse. Worse than 2008, a new record. And I told you right here this was going to happen. They're going to do everything they can do to keep the bubbles inflated, to keep the system from imploding. So it's going to take a lot. It's going to take a lot to bring these markets down, to bring the banks down, because the banks are being propped up, as you can see, with the emergency facility hitting a new all-time high. So where does it end, right? So in this case, at this point, I'm bracing for more inflation. That's why you need to be hedged against this. I really recommend silver and hard assets, because if we see runaway inflation, we've got de-dollarization happening with the BRICS nations. And people think that, because the BRICS didn't announce a new currency, that's good for the dollar. Well, it's not good for the dollar. I mean, it's still not as bad as it could have been. But the fact that there's this alliance going outside of the dollar, it used to be that the U.S. was very hostile to any countries looking to trade outside of the dollar. You go back to the 1940s. And, this has been a trigger for war and sanctions in many cases. So, we've got so many countries out there now doing this, and big countries, Russia and China, the two bigger ones. But also India. Things are changing. Things are changing. Rates are higher. It's not stopping inflation. People with credit card debt, look out, be careful, beware. If you can't pay off your credit card in full every month at a 20-something% interest rate, look out, because the end of the road financially is not too far ahead. And we could see a bankruptcy surge. I still think before the end of the year, it's very possible, unless they bring out some massive rescue programs and similar to what we saw in 2020, what's going to happen. So you please let me know what you think down in comments. Otherwise, we're going to make this a little bit of a shorter one today, but we'll be back with more updates, I promise you. Thanks everybody for being here. Big love. Keep stacking. Bye for now. Peace.